So National Hate Crime Awareness Week this year is taking place between Saturday the 12th to the 19th of October 2019, and we'll be running our usual hate crime campaign. So the National Week is in its 8th year. This year we've recruited some new trustees. We've started the process of registering our charity with the Charity Commission. We hope to finalise that in the next couple of weeks. We've organised the 20th anniversary of the 20th anniversary of the London nail bomb attacks on Brixton, Brick Lane and Soho. Really pleased to say that Soho usually has 130 people turned out. This year we had 800 to 1,000 people turned out in Soho, so it's a spectacular event. And we actually had, for the first time, a memorial banner which we took on the London Pride Parade, and we actually took survivors, friends and families of those who died along with us. It's all about actually bringing people to, victims of hate crime, but also communities together to sort of raise awareness, but also prevent hate crime in our communities. Obviously, we've organised this conference today, and we're planning delivery for the National Week. So 1724-30 takes the first part of its name from the dates of the 3 nail bomb attacks on Brixton, Brick Lane and Soho. I'm not going to read exactly from these slides because I'm just taking the highlights, because there's about 25 slides, so it is literally just the highlights. It's just a skim through. We take the second part of our name from National Hate Crime Awareness Week. The week, as I hope you know, evolved out of the London London Vigils Against Hate Crime, which were first organised in 2009 after the death of Ian Bainham, but also the attack on James Parks in Liverpool. What happened there was that we organised the London Vigil, but those 2 attacks inspired a number of vigils to start taking place around the country. We think in the first year there were 14 vigils in places like Brighton, Kettering, Norwich. But in 2012, for the first National Week, 79 councils were on board. That rose to 83 in 2013, 112 in 2014, 141 in 2015, 182 in 2016, and 211 in 2017. We don't have a figure for last year or this year yet, but we're planning to do a freedom of information to every council again. We did a freedom of information back in 2017, which we asked 8 basic questions. Do they have policy? Do they have staff? Do they have hate crime forums? So we could get a baseline result, and all the results are actually on the boards next door. So in the lunch break, do take a look at the stands, and you can see the makeup of what the national picture is and what the different areas are doing to tackle hate crime across the country. So we've updated that, and somehow all my slides have gone funny, but so we've updated the national website. It's organised in 7 parts. The feedback and experience that we've had from last year was that things were too hidden and in different layers. So what we've realised is that people don't click when they go to a website. They'll land on a page and scroll up and down that page, and it's very unlikely that they'll click to another page. So the way we're using our social media is to signpost people to specific things. So if they're registering an event, they'll go to the page we're registering the event on. If they want to find out information about resources, it will direct them to that position. So they're using the social media to feed in. That we've organised into. So homepage, news, planning your week, reporting hate crime. We've created 2 new archives, and we've got staff and volunteer section. So with the news section, we've got a link to our old blog where we put our big articles and they feed onto the international site. We've outlined the social media profiles that we're using on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're actually increasing our use of Instagram this year. And we're also sticking to the same hashtag. So we stand together, no place for hate, safe place for all. 2 other hashtags that we're using is NationalHCAW and Love Not Hate Community, which we use to represent the anti-hate crime sector. One thing you probably have noticed from the slides already, we're moving away from using NHCAW, and that's because people didn't realise that what that was a national event. So by putting the word national, sort of stresses the fact that it is a national event. One of the tactics we're using this year for sharing images and artwork that you can use is we're using Facebook photo albums. And as you can see from the slide here, so this is all the albums, but if you click here, you can go to the photo album page. Now, the way that Facebook works, you tend to just see the image in the middle. So we've created a graphic which will just perfectly demonstrate that. But then the idea is that you've got more information, and that also acts to signpost and lead to other information on other people's websites. So if we're promoting the Community Security Trust, you'll have their logo there, but the link to their website there. I hope that makes sense. So it's all about reporting hate crime. So our strategy is quite, and so far we've given out over 80,000 hate crime reporting cards directly from ourselves. We tend to promote to the police first, to the council second, and then third-party organisations. As you can see, this is actually a map. So where we did the freedom of information research, we've actually put a dot for every council in the country and then put a tick or a cross to say whether or not they provide information on their website. And we're also linking to a number of, so as you scroll down this page, obviously you get the police first, the council information second, and then at the bottom of the page is all the different helpline services that you can use as well. So planning a national week is divided into 6 sections. So it's, and they're fairly straightforward. They're the same as they were last year. So the links to the national map, organising your events, attending the service at St Paul's, ordering resources, promoting and using our social media, and then frequently ask questions. We've also given a number of ideas that people can use of events that you can organise throughout the week. So on the Google map, what we're asking for is basic information. So if you send this to either through the page on the website, you can fill it, there's a box you can fill in, or you can email us directly, but it allows us to put dots on the map. And I love this one, which is Jersey. So Stop Hate UK organised the first Hate Crime Awareness Week with Jersey, I think it was in June. And for the first time, they're taking part in National Hate Crime Awareness Week in October. So well done, Stop Hate UK. So that's a great win for the community. Service at St Paul's is taking place on Sunday the 13th of October. This year we'll be remembering Johnny Delaney, who was the Roma Gypsy traveller child who was murdered in 2003. We were honoured to have his mother coming to join us and light the national candle of hope and remembrance in his memory. We'll also be inviting 51 people to come up from the audience to light 51 candles for those people who were murdered in Christchurch, and obviously remembering other victims of hate crime as well. So we're going to hopefully work more closely with Gate Hertz, René Cassagne and the Traveller Movement who were speaking today. Really, we want to take this opportunity in this year as an opportunity to really engage with the Roma Gypsy community, and we can all do a little bit more to make sure that we make it clear that it's not the last acceptable form of hate crime. It's not, and we need to get that message out to everybody. So downloading resources, so you'll have seen some of this stuff in the packs in front of you. These are the examples. We have updated the national logo, so we've taken out the NHAC in October, and we've just put in the full hashtag for the National Week. We've slightly updated the hope, adding in the orange. So everything is orange this year. So if you're worried about using last year's resources or this year's resources, if it's orange, orange is the new black. Ordering resources. So 2015 we got a big chunk of money from the home for Department of Housing, Communities and Local Government, and since 2012 we've had money from MOPAC. I've had no funding at all for this year confirmed yet. MOPAC have said that they're still pending making a decision, so it may be our first year without any paid for resources. So we do as a community need to think about, if we want the National Week to succeed and survive, how can we as a community sort of raise some finances to make this happen on a national basis, or who can we put pressure on to actually release up some funds, because I'm sure we all know someone. National Archive, so it's already set up for this year in the sense of, and the way that it works is in the sense of you have click for the service, click to register your events, and then when we get the newsletters, the new letters of support, we'll be adding them here. And then as you can see for previous years, so we've got them all going back with, there'll be a link to examples of all the old resources, a link to all the services, and that links to a Facebook page where you can get photos from those events. Now, if you want to use those photos, I'm quite happy for you to do that as long as you credit us in the process. And then there's also links to all the letters that we received back from 2012, and I think we're actually doing some research because we had 4 years of letters from the London vigils which haven't been put onto the system yet. So some interesting characters in politics these days, and let's see what they said in the past and see if they stick to the principles going forward. So the Acts of Remembrance is already set up for next year, so people can already register for those events. This is the April Acts of Remembrance archive. These were the 3 events here, and I recognise people in the room. So Louise Holden from Inclusion London helped us in Brixton. It was really wonderful this year in the sense we had the families, Nick Moore's family joined us for both Brick Lane and Soho, and as I said, there was massive turnouts and these links to the photo albums. But we've actually done it so that every year you can access all the photo albums going back. And we've actually created a section where we remember the victims, remember the actual attacks that took place. We don't mention the nail bomber's name. We actually want to erase his name from history. We remember David Morley, who was killed 5 years later. He survived the nail bombing to get attacked on the South Bank. And then, as you can see, there was the actual history of what happened after the attacks. How did the communities come together? The laying of flowers, the London Gamers course. There's I think looking back, there's quite a history in the sense of how the choirs get involved and the community stands up together. And I think that we can learn from that when new things happen, how we've done it in the past and how we can respond. And it's about making sure we have those connections with those groups so they can get involved very, very quickly. So volunteers and staff, so we have a shout out to Mark at the back who's filming today and Geordie who's doing timings for us. I'm actually down to just 2 volunteers at the moment, so if anyone does want to volunteer, we have sessions in my flat just down the road on Tuesday afternoons between 1 and 5. We have got a new board of trustees, and we currently don't have any funding for staff. There are tasks that need to be done, so we're looking for people to help us with admin, fundraising, community engagement, planning, delivery, social media and stewarding. And these are a couple of my wonderful new trustees as well. We also have a section on the website for Rainbow Boroughs. Now this is one of our smaller projects. What we're aiming to do here is consolidate 32 years of LGBT community work, but also try and, we're focusing on London to begin with, and it's about networking the London community so that if there is a homophobic attack in London, all the right people are pulled in and communicated with. So we've got Nick from Gallup and Billy from Gallup in the room. So it's great to see you here, and they're talking in a short moment. And we've also got, we work with the consortium, which are an infrastructure organisation, and then you can see that we've got the Met Police LGBT network, the Hate Crime Diamond Group that covers the whole of London, and there is an LGBT working group as well. Met Police, as you may or may not know, have reorganised themselves into 12 areas, and so that's how we're trying to organise ourselves over the last couple of years. Thank you.